So text 12. तस्य सञ्जनयन् हर्षं कुरु वृद्धः पितामहः सिंहनादं विनद्योच्चै शङ्खं दद्मौ प्रतापवान्. So now Duryodhana is doing all this diplomatic talks and politicking going on, and Bhishma thought enough is enough. Now let's get on with it. And he started blowing his conch shell. So anyway, what is the use, Duryodhana? You keep on talking. Anyway, it is going to end. We are on the side of adharma, but still, here you go. This is for your temporary satisfaction. Just be satisfied with this. Let's get on with it. I want to see action. I want to see how the Supreme Lord, my Lord Krishna, exhibits his wonderful pastimes in protecting, in moving these pawns on the battle, and how wonderfully he will save these Pandavas and take them to victory. I want to see all that. Let's get on with it. So that was his intention. So Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham. So he increased the he gave Duryodhana joy by sounding the conch shell. So it is compared to that of the sound of a lion. So the conch shells of various kings indicate the ferocious nature of those kings. So different kings would use different kinds of conch shells, and they would produce different kinds of sounds. It is used for basically why conch shell sound is used. It is used to drive away evil forces, and also as a signal to the start of something which is dharmic. Like even during the arati, also we sound the conch shell. We are starting off something auspicious, and also it drives away all any evil elements near the vicinity. So there is a lot of science involved in many of the Vedic practices that we do. So without even our knowledge, that is embedded in our culture. But unfortunately, all that is now abandoned. So it is compared here, this sound of a lion. Bhishma Deva himself was like a lion. He is the mighty warrior, undefeated warrior, and now he knows that the time has come for Krishna and Arjuna to take over. And then 13th verse. ततः शङ्खाश्च भैर्यश्च पणवानकगोमुखाः सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त सशब्दस्तुमुलो अभवत्. So all these various musical instruments were there on the battlefield. So it was for the purpose of raising the enthusiasm of the fighting parties. Of course, we don't see all that nowadays, but apparently in the war, this is a kind of a motivation or excitement, enthusiasm. The more enthusiastic your musical instruments, the more enthused you will become, the side will become. The conch shells, bugles, trumpets, drums, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and all this combined sound was tumultuous. See that word tumulaha, tumulo abhavat. The word tumultuous apparently came from that because Sanskrit is our ancient language, and English has been developed recently. So many words would sound similar. Dhritya, determination. Asit means sit. Sthiti means situation. Tumulaha, tumultuous. So all these things. And then the next one. Now comes the important part, the entrance of the hero of the Bhagavad Gita. and the important personality which also raises the heroism, who is Arjuna. Somebody has to raise the heroism. If you see the movies, the hero character is elevated by either a side character or by the villain himself. So here, the scene has been set, the context has been given, the different situation in the battlefield has been explained, and everything is now set for Krishna to take over the limelight. So in a classical movie, also the hero makes the entrance when somebody is confused or struggling for something or being kidnapped, or the hero comes and then the car is shown, and then the hero gets down, and slowly the frame will raise up, and then the title will come and all that. So this is all uh, ancient strategies used from Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. So here, so see how it is described. Tata Shvetair Hayair Yukte. Shvetair Hayair. Hayaha means horse, like Hayagriva, the horse-headed incarnation of the Lord. So Shvetair Hayai, the Lord's horses are completely white, pure white. And Mahatis Yandane Stitau. See, the description did not start right from the Lord himself. It started from his vehicle and the horses. His chariot is being described as Mahatis Yandane. Mahati means great. Mahatis Yandane, great chariot. He is situated on this great chariot. Madhavaha. Interestingly, the first word that was used to describe Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, this is the word Madhavaha, the goddess of fortune, which indicates that whoever takes up this wonderful literature, they will become fortunate. Spiritually fortunate as well as materially fortunate. Because wherever there is the Lord, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Pardo Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So he is the husband of the goddess of fortune, Madhavaha. And also another thing to note, so far various personalities have been mentioned, but none of their charioteers have been mentioned. And the very first time the Lord has been introduced, and he is taking up the role of a charioteer. A very, very interesting and peculiar introduction. And the Lord has been introduced as riding this wonderful horses with a beautiful chariot. And then the Pandava comes, the Arjuna comes. Madhavaha Pandavas Chaiva Divyau Shankau Dadad Pradad Matuhu. Even the Shankha, the conch shell, has been prefixed with the word Divya. Divya means transcendental. They sounded their transcendental conch shells. That is how the entrance of Krishna is. So Prabhupada writes in the translation, Lord Krishna. So the word Madhava is translated as Lord Krishna, obviously. So Krishna is the Madhava, Jaya Radha Madhava. And their conch shells are being described as transcendental. So Krishna is, of course, transcendental, the Supreme Lord. Even Arjuna's conch shell is described as transcendental. Why is that? Because anything in related to Bhagavan, Bhagavan is transcendental. He is beyond the modes of material nature. Narayanaha Paro Avyaktat. Paraha Avyaktat means he is beyond this material manifestation. He is the creator of this manifestation. He is not part of this manifestation. When Krishna comes, we should not treat him to be one of the persons like us. We are subject to materialistic laws and regulations because we belong to this framework. We have to work being obliged by these laws of nature. But Krishna is the creator of this framework. He does not belong. here. So why are you not being subject? Because he doesn't belong. He is transcendental. Echaiva satvika bhava tamasas rajasas chaye matta evetti tan viddhi natvam teshu te mayi. So Krishna reveals in the Bhagavad Gita for ignorant people, don't consider me to be part of this material world like all you are. I am transcendental. So we use this word transcendental a lot. Divya means transcendental. What does it mean by transcendental? Sometimes even the materialists, we use this word transcends. He transcended the conditions. Like in a cricket match, the pitch is of a great significance because the pitch can determine the outcome of the match. If the pitch is favorable to the bowling, then the team which has strong bowlers will win. If the pitch is conducive to batting, the team which has strong batsmen will win. But if the pitch is neither here nor there, then somebody has to play out of their skin. Somebody has to play beyond their capability. And then, somebody who is playing like that, and everybody on the other end is getting out, and he is playing and scoring a century, and commentators will say, he has transcended the conditions of the pitch. The pitch is obliging everyone to play a particular shot and get out in a particular way. But this person has transcended the conditions and showed them how to play. That means, transcend means you go above and beyond. And his devotees, the Lord's devotees, because of the fact that they hold on to the lotus feet of the Lord, they also remain transcendental. How they remain transcendental? Just like you have an earthquake happening, and somebody comes and pulls you up, and in the aeroplane, helicopter, he takes you along to a different place. That means you are experiencing the earthquake, but you became transcendental. You are watching it from above, but nothing is affecting you. So when you take shelter of the Lord, Tesham aham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. The Lord personally comes and helps his devotees who have taken shelter of him. So the disturbances, the material conditions which oblige us to continue our material existence don't bother us anymore, as much as the earthquake or a tsunami or severe turbulence or whatever it is. It doesn't affect you if you are situated above that, beyond it, because you have taken shelter of the Lord. By yourself, it is very difficult. However expert swimmer you may be, you cannot overcome the great ocean. How long can you swim? One time or the other, the strong wave will overcome you. You will become weakened over the period of time. Whereas a small fish swimming in the ocean, taking shelter of the ocean, is happily swimming in the ocean without even bothering what is happening. And it is not only swimming, it is swimming against the waves. So that is the position of the fish who has taken shelter of the ocean, as against somebody who may be materially strong, who has learnt the art of swimming, but he cannot sustain the great ocean, the great forces of the ocean. So transcendental means to take shelter of the Lord. Otherwise, one cannot become transcendental. If one has to enter the Lord or the domain of the Lord, one has to also become like Lord. Does it mean we go and merge in the Lord and lose our identity? No. Become like Lord means become one with the Lord's interest. You do activities which are the interest of the Lord, not your own sense gratification. Then you become transcendental. Because Arjuna will now execute eventually the order of the Lord, he will be called as transcendental. That is why he is being called as transcendental. Or anyway, Arjuna is a pure devotee of the Lord. He is the transcendental associate of the Lord. Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Gaurangera Sangigane Nitya Siddha Boli Mane. The associates of Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are not ordinary. They are also liberated. Nitya Siddha Boli Mane. So they don't belong to this material world. The Acharya doesn't belong to this material world. The pure devotee doesn't belong to this material world. Otherwise, how could they transcend the conditions of the material world? So, if you look at Prabhupada's schedule when he was on this planet, even an ordinary youngster in his 20s or 30s wouldn't be able to compete, wouldn't be able to cope up with the schedule of Prabhupada. That is why the secretaries would be changed every month. Prabhupada's personal secretaries, personal assistants, because they were unable to cope up. They would end up getting sick. They would become so tired at the end of those 1 or 2 month period, going along with Prabhupada, traveling with him, participating in his preaching activities, that they will become so tired. But Prabhupada was always jubilant. Every time one of the devotees was saying, he would always find practically the light in Prabhupada's room, always on during the night time. He would be always writing, he would be always chanting, he would be always talking with somebody. Of course, in the night time, he would be predominantly writing. Otherwise, how could one write so much of voluminous literature with full of meaning, with full of deep understanding of the philosophy, full of research from previous acharyas? It is not humanly possible. Unless one is transcendental, unless just like a batsman hitting a century, unless one transcends the conditions of the material world, which obliges us, if 2 days we don't take rest, third day we become sick, or we have to sleep long, we have to catch up on our sleep. But here is a pure devotee who was working 24/7 practically and without getting tired. That means there can exist a platform of reality whereby one can continue on working without being obliged by these material laws. That is a sign that one is becoming transcendental. Of course, one should not artificially imitate. If one cannot function properly by not taking sufficient rest, one should not imitate. Oh, Prabhupada has done this. Oh, this is a standard. Oh, I should reduce my sleeping. Okay, let me reduce my sleeping. That is artificially. Of course, we should have a sadhana, regulation. Morning, this time I should wake up. During Brahma Muhurta, I should finish my chanting. This is sadhana. By gradually doing sadhana bhakti, one comes to the level of transcendental platform. It becomes like a second nature. Just like brushing becomes a second nature. Every day morning, as soon as you wake up, you brush. So like that, as you keep on doing the path of bhakti, it becomes second nature to you. It becomes natural. Like many people, they would be wondered if they asked me and I said, I don't have any TV at my home. That is like completely incomprehensible for them. What do you do at home? They don't have anything else that they can kill time with. But this has become our second nature because of practice. Likewise, worshipping the Lord, chanting His holy names, sleeping less, getting rid of anarthas, all these things gradually will come because that is our nature. Our nature is 24 by 7 engaged in Krishna consciousness, just like what Prabhupada used to do. But because we are covered with material consciousness, material layers, we are right now in material atmosphere. So we have to be obliged by material nature. But by sadhana, one overcomes that. Once dormant Krishna consciousness is overcome, and again we are placed in that burning stage. Krishna is like fire, and in order to enter Krishna, we also have to become fire. Right now, we are like a wood which is wet. If you bring a wood, firewood, which is wet from the overnight fog or rain, you cannot burn it instantly. You have to keep burning, 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 and then when it becomes again dry, and then it catches fire. So, if we want to become transcendental, you need to be constantly doing sadhana, practicing Krishna consciousness, which includes Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, which is all you are all doing, Kirtanam, which is what I am doing, or chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, association of devotees. Five things that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said: Nama Kirtana, devotees association, chanting of holy names, Bhagavata Shravana, Mathura Vasa, staying in a holy place or making your home a holy place, and association of devotees. So, what are the five? Association of devotees, chanting the holy name, studying, yeah, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, staying in a holy place or making your place holy, and worshipping the deity, either at a temple close to you or having a deity at your home and worshipping the deity. So, by all this process, one can be raised to that transcendental platform. It is not the prerogative of only Arjuna. All of us have the ability as a spirit soul, as originally Krishna conscious entities, we all have the ability to become transcendental. It is our own free will which we have to use and engage. And it is not that one fine day you have to start doing all this. One can keep on doing inch by inch. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. So slowly, slowly, thread by thread, you keep on accumulating and it becomes a strong rope. So if you are doing something today, this is Kartik month, you can add a little bit more to your devotional practice. So like that, you keep on accumulating more and more, we will keep progressing. Hare Krishna, I'll stop here. Any other questions, comments?
I have one question. So, even Arjuna is a great devotee of the Lord. So here, both Arjuna and Krishna's conscience are described as transcendental. On the other hand, Bhishma is also a great devotee of the Lord. Mm-hmm. So he also deserves to be, his conscience also deserves to be transcendental. But just that it is not mentioned as transcendental because he has sided, as per the will of the Lord, because he sided with Duryodhana, that's why it is not mentioned.
Yes, that's a good point. Bhishma is, of course, the pure devotee of the Lord. But here, in this context, he is playing the part of adharma, towards the side of adharma. That is why, on that platform, it is not transcendental. But he always remains transcendental as the devotee of the Lord, who is just acting as an instrument in the hands of the Lord. But it would have been inappropriate to call, because his voice, if you call that as transcendental, it has to be victorious. And so that is why it is not called as transcendental, even though he is a pure devotee. So in this context, that's the only reason. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you, everyone. Happy weekend and happy Diwali, Govardhan Puja. We have a celebration in the temple on Sunday. Hopefully, the rain will stay away and we'll have a good celebration. Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita as it is, ki jai.